Streaming content is becoming more and more prevalent. From large broadcasters and video on demand services like Netflix, all the way to houses of worship or gamers, we're finding new and better ways to get online. One brand leading in this space is Videon, with products like their Versa Streamer and EdgeCaster. These compact boxes support either an SDI or an HDMI input, and allow you to stream in incredibly high quality with extremely low latency. We were lucky enough to get our hands on the EdgeCaster 4K, and in this video we're going to run through a basic setup and how it can benefit you. The first thing we're going to do is plug an Ethernet cable into both the Videon device and our local network. Make sure that your computer is connected to the same network as the Videon device that you wish to connect to. We would always recommend a wired connection where possible, for speed and reliability. By default, the EdgeCaster uses DHCP to connect to our network, but we can configure the IP address manually if we want to do so. Then we want to plug in the provided power cord into the Videon device, and the power outlet. And finally, connect your HDMI or SDI source. Next, we're going to install and run the Videon Discovery application. This handy little tool scans our network for any connected Videon devices, and allows us to open the web browser interface, also known as the Videon Web UI, for control and configuration of the EdgeCaster. Now before we dive into the settings and configuring our live stream, we want to make sure that we are running the latest firmware on our device. To do this, we would go to the advanced page of the Videon Web UI and scroll down to the software update heading. Pressing the check for update button will automatically check the installed version against the latest version, and if there's an update available, we'll be prompted to install it. With that done, we can now go about configuring our streams. So I'm going to hop back over to the Encoder control page of the Web UI. The first thing you will see is the drop-down menu where you can select a device. This means that we have multiple devices on the same network. We can easily swap between them in the browser interface, for easy control, all from the same system. Down the left-hand side of the page, you'll see our different configuration tabs, and they are all laid out in the most logical order. Under the AV input are two drop-down boxes, where we can select between either HDMI or SDI for our video source, and the embedded audio in our video signal or a separate 3.5mm jack input on the rear of the unit. This means that if we are taking audio and video from different sources, say we have our camera coming in over HDMI, but we have some mics running through a mixing desk, we don't need to use an embedder to get the audio onto the HDMI signal before it reaches the EdgeCaster. The next tab is our video profiles, and under here we can set up as many different video profiles as we want. If you stream different events throughout the day or week, and each has their own unique setup, these can be saved as different profiles, allowing you to easily switch between them depending on what you want to output. The video profile is where we can choose, if we want, to scale our video signal either up or down in resolution, lock our frame rate to a maximum of 30 frames per second for more stable viewing, and configure our output encoding. What's really nice is the level of flexibility we have in the encoding settings. We can choose either constant bitrate if we want to keep a constant quality, or we have the option of a variable bitrate, which will increase and decrease the bitrate of the live stream depending on what's going on within the scene. We can also set our bitrate in kilobits per second, as well as select either H.264 or H.265 encoding. If we're working in an environment where quality is secondary to latency, we have the option to set our quality and latency settings in a range from either high, normal, low or lowest. This trade-off means that whilst we may not see the best image quality, viewers aren't facing long delays in what's happening live versus what they get to see remotely. The final option in the video profile settings links nicely into the next tab of options, and that's the MBR group. MBR, or multi-bitrate, means that we can set up multiple different video profiles using different bit rates for the same stream. So if we have a high quality, high bitrate stream, we can also set up a medium and low bitrate equivalent so that viewers with any speed of connection can watch our content. Underneath the MBR group, we have our audio profiles, which, like our video profiles above, allow us to configure exactly how we want our audio to be encoded. The final group of settings are our outputs. Now, it would likely take me a few videos to go through all the different options we have available here, so I'm going to give a quick overview for some of them just now. With the RTMP options, we can easily set up streams to platforms like Facebook and YouTube. I'll show you quickly how you can set up a stream to YouTube now. If I go to our YouTube channel and select Go Live from the top right corner, I can now set up a live stream. Once I've configured that, if I link to the YouTube channel in the EdgeCaster web UI, it now lists all of the live streams that I can select from. All I have to do now is toggle the on-off button at the top of the page, or press the button on the front panel of the unit itself. I can set up multiple outputs from the EdgeCaster to all go live simultaneously. So I could be streaming on YouTube, Facebook, or any other platform I want all at the same time. You might also notice that a little further down the page we have a tab called SRT. SRT stands for Secure Reliable Transport, and is a way for us to stream high quality data with low latency securely over the public internet. The default latency of SRT is around 120 milliseconds. As it supports recovery from packet loss and jitter, it means that it's even more reliable on unstable networks, and we can achieve a higher quality of streaming. Its use of 128 or 256-bit AES encryption also means that no unauthorized viewers can see what you're streaming, making it ideal for remote viewing those important projects. Finally, on the Output tab, we have the recording and FTP settings. Videon devices don't just stream your signal, they also support capturing it. We can record directly to a USB 3 drive or an SD card connected to the unit itself, or we can configure it to record across our network to any FTP server that we want. We can even set it to record to both local and network storage simultaneously. The last page we're going to cover is the device settings. This page is very much where we do our top level administration of the EdgeCaster. Under our General tab, we can set the name for the device, which comes in handy if we have multiple units connected to the same network, as identifying the default string of letters and numbers is never easy when there's a few. Under the Security tab, we can configure the administrative control, stopping anyone from mistakenly changing our settings. The XML tab allows us to configure our devices through the use of an XML, so if we have multiple changes we want to apply quickly, we can point the EdgeCaster to an XML, and it will automatically update all of the settings. The EdgeCaster will regularly check this XML at a defined interval, so we can edit it on the fly. Finally, we have our Network tab, where we can choose between DHCP or manually configuring our IP address and network settings for the unit. Overall, the Videon VersaStreamer and EdgeCaster products make streaming a breeze, with their easy to configure standalone functionality. Once set up, you can start and stop streams from the button on the front panel, making them an easy choice for remote installations or for users who might not be tech whizzes. I hope this has been helpful in understanding a little bit more about the Videon EdgeCaster and VersaStreamer products. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact the ScanPro Video team.